J.C. Morton on the pole. J.T. Carroll on his outside. Wheel to wheel. 12 rows deep. J.C. Morton leads us to the green in twin number 1. JC and JT started 1-2, and they're still 1-2, but Colson Kirk charging towards the front to the outside of JT Carroll. Good run off of turn 2, able to pull up alongside. Good gap back to Wes Long. Boy, what a year Wesley Long has had. He's had some pretty good runs, and he's up into the top 4. And John Sheets currently in 5th. As Colson Kirk around J.T. Carroll to the line, he's going to jump up 1 spot to 2nd. Action in the back of the pack, including Luke Neiman in the 181. Neiman pointed the wrong direction on the entry to turn number 4. Some contact on in the field, and Luke Neiman will get his car righted. And, you know, you don't want to spin and go to the back of the pack, but given the fact that we're going to have an invert here, that may not be a bad thing for the second feature tonight.
The only problem with that, Shane, is you don't know for sure. If you're in the back of the pack, you think you're going to end up front, and they only invert half. That's not good.
And see, again, that's up to the crowd to determine. We may actually have to go through all of this and say, if we invert, this is who's going to be on the pole. If we invert this many, this is who would be on the pole. Make it interesting that way.
But is that what they want to know, or they want to just, we're going to invert the whole, we could invert the whole thing. Slower cars would start in the beginning, and the faster cars would have to come up through the field.
And that is how last year, if you remember how we had our first-time winner in Logan Smith here at Lucas Oil Speedway. He had not won at the Diamond of Dirt tracks. We had the invert. He was towards the back of the field, and he was able to hang on to the top spot and pick up his first win and only win at Lucas Oil Speedway last season. So maybe you invert the entire field and give someone a shot that hasn't had the opportunity to win yet.
Well, the other part of that is it's still possible to do the double. So you could win the first one, come all the way through the field, and win the second one.
We're throwing out way too many options here. I'm getting confused.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I remember back at a track I used to work at, we had a big dice. I mean, big, huge, massive dice. We would put it in like the Bill Roberts Chevrolet Pace truck and drive down and just throw it out and let it roll. And that's how many rows you inverted. That's what we used to do. It was so cool.
I think we go backwards.
Oh yeah, that's a new thing we can do. We can run twin number 2 in reverse direction.
Is that an option?
Go clockwise and set a counter.
Jerry would get confused.
Does that mean you start at lap 20 and work your way back?
Well, the other thing is, does this become turn 4 or turn 1?
That's going to confuse me now. I got to think okay, they're in turn 2 right now. Luckily, I see a number 3 over on the wall there.
That's what I mean, yeah.
So as J.C. Morton has the front row all to his own, Colson Kirk to the inside, J.T. Carroll on the outside. They enter turn number 3, and now they're headed to turn number 4, and J.C. Morton through the Lucas Oil restart zone. John Sheets, high, wide, and handsome through 1 and 2. Going to make it a 3-car battle for second. I thought he was going to squeeze to the outside, but Colson Kirk took that line away. JT Carroll to the inside. Kirk stays right beside him as they exit turn number 4. And John Sheets right in the tire tracks of Colson Kirk. Rim right around the top side of turns 1 and 2. Talk about the Fort Scott Flyer, Andy Bryant. In his heat race, he got up to the top shelf and started passing car after car, clicking them off one by one, lap after lap, and he's doing the exact same thing. Andy Bryant now challenging for a top 5 run. He's up to 7th. Working around the 80 of West Long, nearly grazes the wall off of turn number 2 as JT Carroll now has a challenge from Colson Kirk in a battle for second for that top spot. J.C. Morton by 5 car lengths. Kirk has second, JT Carroll in third, but it was tight at the line by 0.08 of a second. And you wonder if there's a little bit of gamesmanship right now with Robbie Ewing. He won earlier on tonight in a late model. He ran pretty well, and he was still starting 18th. He's now dead last. You wonder if he's playing the cards of setting yourself up for feature number 2. As J.C. Morton still leading Colson Kirk. JT got second 2 laps ago. Kirk now back around JT. So it's Morton, Kirk, and Carroll, John Sheets, and Chris Jackson. J.C. Morton leads J.T. Carroll now around Colson Kirk for another time. They just keep swapping second spot back and forth with one another. J.T. 1 lap, Colson Kirk the next lap. John Sheets, now that he's gotten up into 4th, has just been caught in that quagmire back there, not able to really break into the top 3 with Chris Jackson running in 5th. Andy Bryant, now that he has moved up to 6th, that's where he is stuck. 2 distinctly different lines as Colson Kirk and John Sheets run the top shelf through 1 and 2. J.T. Carroll bottom feeding around the bottom side of the track in 3 and 4 as J.C. Morton leads by 6 car lengths over J.T. Carroll. They are still a good half a straightaway away from the back end of the line of traffic, and that is where Robbie Ewing sits. And he has not been able to work up at all as Killian and Luke Neiman are the 2 cars up in front of him. This has been all J.C. Morton. He has led from the drop of the green. 1.6 seconds. His advantage over J.T. Carroll. And Colson Kirk, who was battling for second now, he has dropped back and he is under fire from Chris Jackson and John Sheets. Chris Jackson, the former owner of J2 race cars. John Sheets now has that title. So those are 2 J2 racing chassis right behind the 55 of Colson Kirk in the middle of the track, and the 55 is in a GRT. Sheets around the outside. Change among the leaderboard as John Sheets is now up into 3rd. And a looper, and Chris Jackson spins around in turn number 2, a solo spin. 4 laps left. We have ran 16. It has been all J.C. Morton ahead of J.T. Carroll and John Sheets. The choo-choo train heads through 1 and 2. First to break formation is John Sheets. Andy Bryant will do the same thing. Sheets is up into the top 3. A 3-car battle for the final 4 laps. J.C. Morton leads J.T. Carroll and John Sheets. Throw a sheet over all 3 of them with 3 to go. Sheets around J.T. Carroll, squarely into 2nd. Will he have a run with 2 laps to go? He is on the razor's edge on the top, and John Sheets to the top spot. John Sheets in 25, the Super 8, has won 12 times at 7 different tracks. Chris Jackson parks it on the infield. John Sheets challenged again by Morton with 1 lap to go. It's a car length between the two. As the Midwest Sheet Metal caution comes out, it is for a car slowed on the backstretch. The 44 bringing the caution out of Ty O'Neill. He started in 10th, and with 1 lap to go, and the lead lap cars all starting to bear down on the backstretch, they had to throw the yellow for the 44T. And John Sheets had a nose out in front of J.C. Morton, and it was just a nose. That was it. John Sheets, J.C. Morton, J.T. Carroll, your top 3.
We'll go wide off the court. All right, guys, single file out. We're going. It'll be the white flag when you come back through the start zone next time by. It's going to be the white flag next time by on the start.
So a 1-lap shootout. Casey Schumann on the flag stand has the white flag in hand. He's not giving up on this race. He's just letting them know there's 1 lap remaining. John Sheets, J.C. Morton, J.T. Carroll. There's some history with these top 2 drivers. John Sheets and J.C. Morton have battled it out over the years, and J.C. Morton's going to give it 1 last run to the bottom side through 1 and 2. J.C. Morton nosedives into 3 and 4, but John Sheets way too strong on the outside. J.C. into 2nd, Andy Bryant in 3rd. That's your top 3.